I believe that art begins in your imagination. That's an inner world. It's inaccessible to other people's sight. They might see a mood or something reflected in your face, but they can't understand the visions that are going on in your head. The way that the creative person or anyone who wants to describe it, they will translate that vision into a work of art. If it's saturated with the feeling of its author, then it comes alive for people. When someone shares that work now with an audience, that's taking it out of the studio and putting it into the collective. And the collective then interprets that art object. Then the collective starts to talk about, well, what does this mean? This new kind of way of making art, but it might represent a new way of thinking, a new way of being. That's how art can evolve the individual, but when the collective sees this new way, then they're at a higher level. Now all of the ideas that are coming out of the collective are going to be a little more advanced, and they're going to take advantage of what's already happened to birth something new. And then that's going to go into the collective, and that will give another rung higher. So this is how creativity is a self-reinforcing evolutionary force.
Sacred mirrors have really been the center of our life for a long time. We had the...
Since Allyson inspired them and named them back in 78.
Well, we started co-creating from the beginning 40 years ago when we started sharing a studio together, but we were very, still, our egos were very separate, and we had come through separate paths. Our work was very individual, and so learning to work together is a lifelong process. Like to be transformed into a better person in this life, we mirror all of that stuff, and we can see ourselves in others, we can see ourselves in the beloved. The person that you really love the most, you see your ickiest self, and you want to be better. So we both feel that. We call it compatible pathologies. We both feel that there's healing to be done on ourselves, and through the mirroring of the other, we see our deficits and our strengths.
We think that the fusion of spirituality and creativity is a very natural thing, that it's restorative for the soul, for any of us that have a creative path in practice. No matter who we are, what it is, whether it's gardening or journaling or painting or sculpting, or all of these things are great forms of creative expression. And the more of ourselves, the more soul that we put into them, the higher the vibrational field of our collective becomes.
We uplift.
If you can see the gift in your life, then you're evolving, and you're going to be healing no matter what has happened to you. You need to listen for your gift and not, pretend that you don't have one, You got to own whatever your creative gifts are. Our consciousness sculpts our thoughts. So how will we craft our consciousness? That's an artistic question. That's every day we have an aesthetic opportunity to observe the spectacle that God has painted before us in every moment of now, and either appreciate the symphony that's displayed or find it lacking somehow. And is that not a constriction of our own spiritual eye that couldn't see God. So the object is to see God every day, in everything, as much as possible, to recognize that you're witnessing a sacred mirror unfolding.
If you love enough, if you love big enough, if you really have a big love, everybody wants to be a part of a big love, and everybody wants to love. Love is an attractor. And as you get bigger and there's more love, you've got to have place. You have to have center. And in order to have any power in the world, like say a say in your larger community, you have to have a temple.
Entheon, Sanctuary of Visionary Art, a exhibition hall of the international visionary art movement, and special works by Allyson and myself. Our goal is that Entheon will always house the work of the international movement, and that if we're successful with our venture, that we'll eventually be building another temple on the property. It's a pretty large property, and there's another spot that we want to build the final chapel of sacred mirrors. And at that time, if we're able to do this, and we think it'll happen in the 2020s sometime, we'll move our collection, our art, out of there, put it into the chapel of sacred mirrors, and then the rest of Entheon will be available for exhibiting the work of the visionary art movement.
Start looking for your passion. What draws you? What calls you? To us, it was the most important thing. Our journeying, our most inward expression. I want you and your work that you're doing to have its own effect that is actually put out in the mainstream in a positive, affecting way. It's your responsibility to do it. And you find ways to do it that are innovative and creative and uniquely through your own filters. Anyone who's watching this, you can reach us. We're actually very reachable at cosm.org, cosm.org. Alex Gray, Allyson Gray, just ask for us. And you can be with us at every full moon ceremony at Cosm, at every celestial celebration at Cosm. We will be there, and at our church too. So you come to New York, it's a great pilgrimage, and visit Cosm.